The prolonged trial within a trial has finally come to an end. Moroadi Cholota will know her fate in the multi-million rand asbestos roof removal case. She insists that the process to bring her back to South Africa from the US were flawed. Cholota's legal representative argued that the state omitted critical evidence that would have made the extradition application unsuccessful. She also argued that she was intimidated by the investigation officers during a 2-day interview with her in the USA.
Before this court, when it was imminent and pivotal for them to do so, they did not place a single person who could speak to this in this box. Instead, they put individuals from other departments who had nothing to do with extraditions. And so the point still stands. The state did not put any evidence, or rather relevant evidence, before this court in relation to the legality or lawfulness of Ms. Cholota's extradition.
The state called 2 witnesses to substantiate their evidence. During a cross-examination, the state witness submitted that the extradition application was based on the facts of the case and says he informed Cholota of her rights before conducting the interview.
I disagree. It was a question that posed, did you send the emails on instruction of Mr. Magashule? She could have said no and given an explanation. Her answer is just the office of the Premier. So she's evading a direct answer to a question that was posed to her, my lord.
Meanwhile, the state has argued that Cholota's allegations cannot be proven because she failed to take the stand.
We take the view that the evidence of the 2 witnesses is sufficient to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this court has jurisdiction to try Ms. Cholota in respect of all the charges that have been presented by the state, with evidence that we're going to lead in a subsequent trial. They decided not to call her, which was a decision that they took, and we respect that.
The state maintains that it has followed all the diplomatic process in applying for Cholota's extradition.
United States Department of Justice is not a pushover. It is not a question of they just accept anything that is sent to them. That is abundantly clear from all the from all the correspondence. They have to be convinced, and only after they were convinced were they satisfied that they could extradite on the corruption charges and the 4 fraud charges. So it's not a question of the state just asking and the state getting.
Magashule's lawyer was also part of the trial within a trial. Cholota was his personal assistant during his tenure as Premier and when the multi-million rand tender was allegedly unlawfully awarded.
Am I allowed to cross-examine this witness? I think I'm obliged to, and I have instructions from my client who insists that I do so, because they knew, him and Captain Carlitz, that she thought she would be an accused. She had an attorney. They knew her attorney. They knew he was acting for her. They'd seen it. The whole world at Lords had seen it, and they told her, you may no longer communicate with your own attorney.
The main trial is expected to resume on Wednesday. Aphumelele Mdlalane, SABC News, Bloemfontein.